Wonder 360° presents 10 unbelievable and amazing science facts. There is no doubt that science is amazing. That's why it is interesting and it attracts people who love to discover the wonders of science. It is a short list of fascinating science facts you probably unaware of. I know this list is too much short. So I'll encourage you to make it bigger by sharing your knowledge about science facts in the comment section. If you are new in our channel, click red subscribe to ensure you never miss a single video. Number 10. The average human body carries 10 times more bacterial cells than human cells. Isn't it funny how we wash our hands, wash our countertops with vinegar and grimace when someone sneezes near us? In fact, we do everything we can to avoid encounters with the germ. But the truth is that every one of us is a walking petri dish. All the bacteria living inside human body would fill a half-gallon jug. According to Carolyn Bohach, a microbiologist at the University of Idaho, there is 10 times more bacterial cells in your body than human cells. Don't worry, though. Most of these bacteria are helpful. In fact, we couldn't survive without them. Number 9. A photon can take 40,000 years to travel from the core of the sun to surface of Earth. Sunlight is produced through nuclear reactions in the sun's core. After billions of collisions with matter, this radiation reaches the surface and escapes into space. Once they reach the surface, there is effectively nothing to get in their way before they reach the Earth. Think of it sort of like trying to drive out of a really complex and busy city center, and then getting onto an empty highway. It might take you hours to drive only a few miles away from your start point, but then hardly any time to cover a much bigger distance with nothing in your way. The estimated time taken by photons to travel between the sun's core and its surface ranges from 10,000 to 170,000 years due to the random walk they take, bouncing between the atoms they meet on the way. The 40,000 years is a broadly accepted as average. Number 8. At over 2,000 kilometers long, the Great Barrier Reef is the only living structure on Earth visible from space. The Great Barrier Reef, the largest living structure in the world. It is an interlinked system of about 3,000 reefs and 900 coral islands divided by narrow passages, just beneath the surface of the Coral Sea. Spanning more than 2,000 kilometers and covering an area of some 350,000 square kilometers, it is the largest living structure on Earth and the only one visible from space. Number 7. The average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world in a lifetime. An average moderately active person takes 7,500 steps per day. If you maintain that daily average and live until 80 years of age, you'll have walked about 216,262,500 steps in your lifetime. Doing the math, the average person with the average stride living until 80 will walk a distance of around 110,000 miles. Which is the equivalent of walking about 5 times around the Earth, right on the equator. Number 6. Liquid helium flows against gravity. When helium is cooled to a critical temperature of 2.17 Kelvin, called its lambda point, a remarkable discontinuity in its nature occurs, like dribble through molecule-thin cracks, climb up and over the sides of a dish, and remain motionless when its container is spun. The liquid density drops, and a fraction of the liquid becomes a zero viscosity. The helium has become a superfluid. Number 5. An individual blood cell takes about 60 seconds to make a complete circuit of the body. An average people have about 5 liters of blood in his body, and the average heart pumps about 70 ml of blood out with each beat. Also, a healthy heart beats around 70 times a minute. So, if you multiply the amount of blood that the heart can pump by the number of beats in a minute, you actually get about 4.9 liters of blood, which is almost your whole body's worth of blood. In just a minute, the heart pumps the entire blood volume around your body. Number 4. A thimbleful of a neutron star would weigh over 100 million tons. Wiki article for neutron star says, neutron stars can have densities of 5.9 times 1017 kg in 1 cubic meter, and assuming a thimble is about 1 cubic centimeter, then that is a mass of 590 billion kilograms. I should mention that this would not be physically possible to separate a piece of neutron star that size either. A neutron star only exists because gravity has overcome the electromagnetic forces in the material, and you are left with something that is essentially a gigantic nucleus. The only reason it hasn't collapsed to a black hole is because the Fermi degeneracy pressure is holding it up. If you were to grab a small chunk of it the size of a thimble, and somehow separate it from a star and put it in its own environment, I suspect it would explode with a force much larger than any nuclear bomb ever set off. Number 3. Babies have around 100 more bones than adults. This is because babies have more cartilage than bone. Newborn babies have around 305 bones. A baby's skeleton is mostly made up of cartilage. This extra flexibility helps them pass through the birth canal and also allows for rapid growth. With age, many of the bones fuse, leaving 206 bones that makes up an average adult skeleton. Number 2. Some metals are so reactive that they explode on contact with water. There are certain metals including potassium, sodium, lithium, rubidium, and cesium that are so reactive that they oxidize, or tarnish, instantly when exposed to air. They can even produce explosions when dropped in water. All elements strive to be chemically stable, in other words, to have a full outer electron shell. To achieve this, metals tend to shed electrons. The alkali metals have only one electron on their outer shell, making them ultra keen to pass on this unwanted passenger to another element via bonding. As a result, they form compounds with other elements so readily that they don't exist independently in nature. Number 1. If you took out all the empty space in our atoms, the human race could fit in the volume of a sugar cube. The atoms that make up the world around us seem solid, but are in fact over 99.99999% empty space. An atom consists of a tiny, dense nucleus surrounded by a cloud of electrons, spread over a proportionately vast area. This is because, as well as being particles, electrons act like waves. Electrons can only exist where the crests and troughs of these waves add up correctly. And instead of existing in one point, each electron's location is spread over a range of probabilities and orbital. They thus occupy a huge amount of space. Leave your comment and do not forget to subscribe to stay connected with Wonder 360 Degree.